Hello, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family. Hello. We're gonna have a special guest on today, Abu Shadi, and he's gonna share his experience with Breath Dojo. Waiting for him. Waiting for Abu Shadi to hop on here. And a little background of Abu Shadi. Nick, aka Nick, grew up in a yoga world. His mom is an instructor, and just a beautiful experience for him to just be in Breath Dojo and just hear his testimonial of what he experienced himself, and see the beauty that he brought. All right. Oh, thank you for the badge, Love Candy. All right, let me see if I could do it through here. The dot. All right, there he is. Oh, there he is. Hey, Nick. I was just telling everyone about you. Oh, there we go.
What up? What up?
Hey, brother. There we go.
Let me describe my. Good, brother. I gotta get a red light. I've been looking at it. It's time.
Yeah, when you become very sensitive, you can see what like fluorescent light does to your body, like because the melanin inside your body is going to react to light. That's what it feeds off of, and um, play the dance with the chemical reaction to light, because that's all the spectrum is. It's a spectrum of light that we're all experiencing.
Really, every light, sound, energy. So do you have the red light on like most of the day? Then or
No, I'm barely home anyway. I'm mostly outside most of the day. I try to do that. Only at nighttime or whenever it rains, I'll have it on.
That makes sense. Are there like other colors that you would also use like for different reasons? Curious about that.
Oh, what do you mean in terms of the infrared? The infrared light?
Well, just like we're saying that all the colors hold a frequency and would affect you.
Ah,
You say like aligning like
yeah.
the color chakras, like is that something you could do?
Well, now you're talking about laser technology. I have yet to play around with laser technology. I do want to combine it with the pyramids and even the satellite projectors that Paradigm has, because I've seen some really cool experiments using laser technology and using different spectrums of light. So personally, I've yet to experiment with it, but in terms of the infrared light, if people don't know, it's the fastest light spectrum that can really molecularly change water at a super fast speed. That's why it's healing for us as human beings, because we're mostly made up of water. So it really has some really healing benefits in terms of the DNA and things of that nature, because the DNA structure is made up of water as well.
I remember
And
you
that
were
is
saying
how the
that
DNA holds memory.
red light is in a way.
Oh, you went in and out, brother. I didn't hear you. I'm gonna
Uh,
mute when I'm not. So let's take turns muting our mics whenever we're not talking. I'm gonna mute mine.
um, how do I mute my? Oh, okay, I see it. Got you. I was just gonna say, I remember you mentioned that the red light has EMF protection aspects to it. So yeah, that all fits together. Very cool. And also, I guess when we're in the sunlight, we are getting the full spectrum, right? And we're getting the infrared from the sun. But like the sun is black, so it's like everything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The sun is literally a black hole. If you get the eye, or once you get the eye, as they say, you'll see for yourself the sun is literally a black hole, emanating all spectrums of light within that frequency. So, Nick, do you want to share your Breath Dojo experience with everyone live here? And a little background of Breath Dojo. So, Breath Dojo was um, it's a it's an event that we host in Breath Family, and everyone comes together for 2 days straight, nonstop breath work. So, literally, uh, in that spectrum, Nick, yeah, you want to share your experience, brother?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great place to start. Yeah, so I guess I would just want to say like first that a little background about me that I studied yoga in India and was doing a full year of pranayama techniques, and it really, it really changed me, it really transformed my life, really brought me to a whole place. And it um, brought me to you as well. First I started seeing like Taylor Budd posts, and then I saw Casey, and then she posted you, you posted Nick, and then here we are. We have this whole family of conscious breathers. And yeah, I really like how you say that we should be breath connoisseurs. There's so many different styles to explore. And yeah, I was really interested in alchemy breathwork as another um, set of techniques to explore and to expand upon my own practices. And yeah, just from the start of doing alchemy, I just really love it. It's part of my daily practice now, for sure. And I'm super grateful that I have the background that I do have, and that I did get to learn those techniques and still incorporate them into my life and have that perspective. But yeah, the alchemy breathwork, it makes sense that it exists in this time, that it's something that channeled through you, that you have brought into the world right now. Because it's just we're just coming into that new age, like, for lack of a better word. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of new systems that are incorporating the past systems and kind of bringing them to people in a modern way, in like a new way to look at them that applies to right now. What do we need right now to move forward? And yeah, I would definitely put alchemy breathwork in that light, that it's just something that is just very, once you do it, it's very obviously like, okay, like, this is something that we all should be doing, you know, throughout the day. Like, it's so easy to just pop out some alchemy breathwork. Like, every time I'm driving, that's like the go-to, whatever. And the beauty of what you designed is that there's so many variations. There's so many ways to just slightly change every technique to just keep it interesting, so you don't get bored. Like, I think that's probably a problem that a lot of people have, is they just get bored of doing the same techniques. So yeah, I'm just grateful that you have brought this to us. And this is my long answer to talk about Breath Dojo. um, but So yeah, the Breath Dojo was, I was just super excited about that, because I kind of missed the first one. I just made it to like one of the classes, and I just wasn't like prepared for it. I didn't like see your your messages. Honestly, I was just eating too much that day, so I just like couldn't join the classes. Too heavy. But yeah, for the second one, I was like, all right, I'm going to just eat like fruits and juices today and tomorrow, and you know, be there for it all and take advantage of it. And it was interesting. It kind of it's like it all built up for me, and it was like the last class that we did, the last technique was like it all kind of hit me. I felt like at that point that I just really, really felt the extent of what doing that amount of breath work in a day will do to you, you know? I just felt great. I just felt really great and like, relaxed and healed.
Yeah, can you talk about the sustainability? Because many people within the breathwork space themselves, they may feel like, whoa, too much breathwork is
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
overboard. But what they don't realize is no, it's too much
yeah.
sympathetic breathwork is too much. You want to touch on that, brother?
Yeah, I'd love to. So yeah, I mean we're in a sympathetic nervous system society, we can say, People are constantly in that fight or flight stress mode. Even when they're like relaxing, they're still in that. Like people don't just because they're not breathing right, they're still like when people are just chilling watching TV, like they're still not relaxedly, just holding tension. So it makes sense that really if you're going to be doing work, the vast majority of it is parasympathetic breathing. You should be bringing yourself in um, that regeneration and repair state. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. So I like when I've had days or a few days at a time where I'm teaching a lot of clients. Um, yeah, definitely. Just I realize that just constantly doing sympathetic practices, and in my classes, I definitely do both. I definitely will speed things up and then also go into parasympathetic. Um, yeah, just doing a lot of sympathetic breathing throughout the day, I just found was really tiring for myself and draining. Um, Whereas doing parasympathetic breathing like Alchemy breath work, you don't feel tired from the breath work. You feel energized. And I think that's like a good kind of way to look at it. Like if you're tired after doing breath work, you're doing it wrong. I would say like this. The same thing applies to sex, right? If you're tired after having sex, you're doing it wrong. So yeah, I would apply that
As
to
as
breath.
as the saying goes in this passed down joke is if you're tired and you nut, you didn't fuck her, she fucked you.
Exactly, exactly. So are you trying to? Damn, I don't know if I want to say. Are you trying to fuck the breath or let the breath fuck you? But it's quite a way to put it.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because that shows you there's a different characteristic of the breath itself. Like the breath is literally a living entity in all dimensions of life, no matter how you look at it. And this goes even further back than Hinduism itself. There's the oldest quote unquote religion, quote unquote, is animism or animism, where one perceives everything as animated. And let's even backtrack from even just that whole world. But when we look at the human being, what makes the human being animated? When it dies, there's no more animation. That last breath, it's the breath that is animating the body.
And yeah, it's that same spirit that's flowing through everything. It's alive, so definitely important to look to those people, those those really early uh, belief systems before they were like tainted by everything. They were just seeing it as it was, essentially. Like how they say, if you don't have words for everything, if you don't have a word for anything that you see, you just look and it's God. Like, what else? What else could it be? It's everything.
And that's where we just learn to just add, and that's
Exactly.
where in
But
a
then,
sense it taught us alchemizing in terms of alchemy in that aspect. But
mhm.
even going further back, we're seeing a reflection of ourselves. And even if you look at the word time, right? Time spelled backwards is a mit. So it's like our exploration, our perception of time, us just being within the now, of how you perceive it, is we're realizing and living reflections of our internal world, and that is what is emitting out back to us,
Mhm.
in a sense.
Wow. Yeah, I love those. I love those little connections we can make with the words. Um, I actually have a question for you about alchemy breathwork, because so like usually when we're talking parasympathetic breathing, we're saying like breathing, like 4 or less breaths per minute, something like that, like breathing really slowly. So how are we getting into parasympathetic through um, through your methods? When we'll go for periods of time breathing a lot more than that, but it still seems to bring you into that state. Could you touch on that a bit?
All right. So, as they say, time is a man-made concept in general. Well, in everything, in every essence, going back to the whole reflection, right? um, you know, within this, the only time restrictions we use is just the limit on the session. Really, we don't say inhale for 4, exhale for 4, because that's just more additive stress in itself. There's no. Do you truly know you're inhaling for 4 when there's in your mind it could be 4.8.8.9 millisecond? You know, so there's no exact way in that sense, like really truly getting to that exact number of what you're perceiving it, in a sense. So, connecting to that, this is where the quality of the breath, of where you're paying more attention to, starts to have that ripple effect of more parasympathetic versus sympathetic. And that dives into the sense of the power of the exhales and paying more focused attention in that sense, but also having reverence for the inhales as well, but just amplifying the connected bridge to that inner world that is connected via breath versus too much influence on the external world affecting it. And that is how these methods and this lifestyle, more so, keyword system, right? System, just another word for lifestyle as well. It plays all into a connective, unified body. So when you bring that aspect also into your daily life as well, you start to build a huge connector in the sense of home, in terms of homeostasis, mentally home within your body, because your body is where your home is. It's like we're living in the body without also living in the body at the same exact time. It's a interesting phenomena, understanding phenomena, that only we can only experience via breath in terms of our exhale. That was once part of us. So when we have that connectivity and consciousness, i.e., breath consciousness, you start to see the strings and the different bridges beyond human comprehension back to quote unquote homeostasis, in the sense of revering what the breath truly is. It's truly consciousness. And within, this is why we also regulate the breath afterwards in that sense. So you have that, back to home, but it's a different part of grooves that you've created with different breathing patterns within certain neurons, having that connective domino effect going back and forth. What's the essence to life in the starting equation? It is, i.e., breath. So when we can enhance the quality and shift it in different mechanics, you're then telling the whole rest of the body of how to shift. And that is, honestly, if you really think about it, when it comes to detoxing in general, and when you look at people going back to their old ways back and forth, it's not just the addiction itself, it's the breath pattern that you're addicted to. And when you break that breath pattern, anything you do beyond detoxing is going to be more of an ease in life, because you're connecting your essence that's unique to you. I literally say, just like the fingerprint, right? Everyone has a different count of breaths they have taken in this lifetime. Everyone is different. No matter how close a twin is, the other twin's going to have like 0.3, 0.5x, whatever, higher than the other sibling. And that's how neuroscience is actually looking at alchemy the way they're doing now. And I can't wait to, put on some headgear myself and sharing that essence of what I mean in the sense of breath consciousness.
That's potent, brother. So if you don't mind, I want to just try and not try. I just want to, I guess, reiterate that in my own words to better understand it. But essentially, the first part is like you're taking out a lot of the distractions and stressful part of breath work, like the counting, and like trying to get to a certain number or something, trying to get to a certain time. Like you're not thinking about any of that, so it's automatically more it's more focused on yourself than I guess trying to do something. And then really focusing more on the exhales, which are connected to parasympathetic, and creating different patterns with the breathing, which is essentially reprogramming your brain, rewiring your neural pathways. And then, like you said, always having that slow down regulation, coming back to normal, not normal, but actually coming into a new version of yourself pretty much every time that you do it. Or not pretty much, but actually every time that you do it, you are a new person every moment. So yeah, it's I'm really excited to see all these different like researchers and doctors, whatever, like wanting to work with you, because if the whole world was breathing like this, like there wouldn't even be talk about a pandemic. It's like this is the first thing. It's just making sure you're breathing right. And yeah, obviously I like to say, and I guess just kind of taking this from Nick Caputo, but just like every nasal breath is a meal. Every breathing session with the nose is a meal. And I'll feel that way with anything that I'm doing, breathing in this way. If I'm running for several miles and just breathing in 3s or 6s or just normal in and out, but just breathing with the nose, I never feel like tired when I'm running. I always feel energized after. And that's such a big difference from when I used to run in the nose, out the mouth. or just seeing people only breathing with the mouth. It literally is nourishment. It's feeding you when you breathe like this. And I remember you talking about just how seeing the way that people breathe, it kind of like, it just shows you like what type of people you want to be around, you know, like, uh, so just anytime someone's mouth breathing around me, it's just, it kind of bothers me. Like, I really want to say something like, you really shouldn't be doing that, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it puts you in a different world in terms of sensory awareness. It's funny you said that because I was only gonna make a meme with like Homer Simpson in a bar, and his eyes are just big, just like, oh my, like you just realize something, and then everyone's just casually around him. I was gonna make a
Mm.
meme with the breath when you're in a room filled with mouth breathers. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, I'm starting my first month-long juice fast this July. And yeah, definitely inspired by you in part. You're over like 3 years on just liquids, right? At this point? 4 years. That's crazy. Not crazy. It's actually more normal than uh, how everyone else eats.
so
If you really
um,
think about it.
so I just got into hot yoga, right? And I barely
All
stretched
right.
as I back in the day I didn't stretch as much as I do now. And within 3 days in hot yoga, I could stretch like I could do some deeper stretches. And the yoga instructor, she was surprised. She was like, "Wow, in 3 days, in 3 days, like, what do you do most of the day?" I'm like, "Oh, I do a lot of breath work." She's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." Yeah, you're naturally expanding when you breathe this way, and this is how I knew it was definitely parasympathetic. The fact that I was still gaining in mass while barely doing
Mm.
as much workouts as I do now, the fact that I was still gaining in mass, it's wild. It's wild. But that's how you know it's a more parasympathetic style of breathing that the body absolutely loves.
Mm-hmm. The body does love it. Uh, yeah, it's so vital to me now. Like I will never go through a workout without doing some parasympathetic breathing after the workout. It's like that is your pre-workout. Breathwork is your pre-workout and your post-workout shake. Like,
Yeah, brother. When you're breathing like that, I'm gonna also be uploading the breath library, starting with basketball first. Breath work for basketball, like that stuff. But when you're breathing in between those sessions or even during the sessions, you're programming your body to heal, after the come down or the before after, in a sense. And this is what I mean by, you're building up healthy breathing patterns where, later down the line, if you're consistent with it, um, your mind, as I'm about to head to the gym. I know I'm heading to the gym. Before I even touch or get into my workout, whatever it is, the body subconsciously is low-key breathing in different patterns even within the neurons itself that build up that neuroplasticity. So that is where you see the high increase in the sense of um, lowering inflammation, but not only that, having athletes adapt a lot faster, but also adapt for the human being in a sense, no matter what situation it is beyond sports in that aspect. But that's a connective bridge. Even working out in itself is a low-key meditation. So when you're breathing like in a more homeostasis manner, it's a beautiful symphony of healing rather than that overbearing aching and paining after a workout.
yeah, definitely. And I I would just, connect that dot and say that, most people are so sore when they're working out. One, because of the food they're eating, that's, it's building up all this like, I guess, lactic acid, right? Um, and inflammation and tension in the body. So it's partly that, and then also just not taking the time for parasympathetic breathing throughout the day. The only time that their body is repairing is in their sleep. So it's not, and that's if it's a restful sleep, And a lot of people are eating before bed and watching a ton of stressful things and not even really getting that restful regenerative sleep. So yeah, why not do it consciously? And like you said, it's like mind blowing, right? That you were like barely working out, and just through breathing in this way, the body is just from like biking and whatever, like, movements you have to do throughout the day, your body is like using that to build new muscle. So yeah, it's pretty spectacular. And I really think that we're with this type of breathing, with this system, we're really on to some serious longevity, um, and just, long-lived youthfulness in life.
Yeah, brother, it's really it's mind blowing because I'm looking younger than my cousins. I'm looking younger than people within my age group. People who I grew up with back at home. I'm like, oh my god, like I do not take it
Peace
for
for them.
granted. I don't take it for granted whatsoever. But it's an interesting journey, and being able to witness the contrast of time. Going back to time in itself. What is time? Seriously, especially when you're conscious of it and
Mm,
of yourself. Some deep revelations of just you just being and just witnessing and living it. Some deep revelations will sooner or later come to you, and that is the wisdom of life that no guru, nobody else but yourself get that message, whatever it may be, to each individual.
yeah, yeah, I so agree. um yeah, I mean, you can be told something so many times, but until it like comes to you in that way, you don't really get it. um and I say that all the time, that it's like, I'll I'll go for long walks in the woods or on the beach or whatever, and just be kind of talking to myself, thinking through things and whatever, sorting things out. But it's when I finally just like stop talking and like just lay down in the sunlight and breathe, that the answer comes to me just like that. It's like, okay. It's when you get out of your way, and like you said, you're just being, you're just observing, you're just noticing. um some serious downloads come.
Yeah, brother. I challenge everyone, anytime you drink something, anytime you eat something, to play subliminal breathwork music while you do it. And
Mm,
you'll notice the quality of your relationship with intake of food in general start to change. It will. It will. I challenge you. That's a 30-day challenge right there. I challenge you to do that. Do it,
I love it.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna change your world. Uh there's this person I met yesterday, and apparently she comes from a royal background. And she said,
Mm,
princesses within royalty, and this is well known between. You could thank Genghis Khan for that, because Genghis Khan took all different types of spiritualities as much as he could find, and hired like the highest monks to even teach his sons, stuff like that. So you could thank him for just that echoing of knowledge from all the way from China, going back to Africa, royalty, like they're all connected in a sense, all thanks to one of the many things, one of the many,
Yeah.
Genghis Khan. So she said, you're taught growing up is to like breathe in with the nose because it's more ladylike, it's more royal like versus mouth breathing. Like she was taught that growing up, and people don't realize this. Like when you hit royal status, when you hit the, everything you could ever want or like have in terms of just material wise, right? Consciously, there's gonna be a point where like, man, I'm bored. I'm not really happy. I need more. There's something has to be more out of life. And royalty, most of the time, they're grown up and they're taught that. They're taught energy is real. They're taught many, many esoteric styles of perception of life. Yeah, it's of value because it's real. From family to generation of energy that kept them wealthy. This is energy that's being passed down generation after generation that's kept them in the places they've been kept. Yeah.
So I guess then the question is how to get that to everybody else too. And I guess the answer is what we're doing right now, right? Just bringing it to the world. I think you said like a little while back that, part of you was, before you really started on this part of your journey, part of you was kind of wanting to be more secluded and live a more monk-like lifestyle. And it was either your sifu or just like a download that came to you that you needed to share this with the world. Yeah, I just think that's really powerful. And
yeah, so it started with friends and family in terms of helping them what they were going through in their lives with certain illnesses and emotional stuff as well. And then it became word of mouth, and then friends, family of friends, even before coming back to Instagram and social media. People would literally fly me out, so yeah, it started off there, and then someone pushed me to be on social media, and here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, and for anyone who's like new here or doesn't really know, like just check out this page and check out the YouTube and sign up for the Breath family. And there's so much value that you have already provided. And what's crazy is like it's still really just the beginning. Like we're just like, it's the pregame. Like we're just getting started.
Yeah, like literally next week I'm about to drive like 5-6 hours up north Florida to record some crazy stuff. So yeah, it really just is the beginning. That's why I'm really waiting out the breath consciousness book, because I know when I work with these labs, like we're gonna find some interesting things, because there's so many different modalities of breath yet to be touched and explored. That's all. We're only exploring deeper parts of ourselves and see how much it can help our brothers and sisters just in a global sense, with research to back it up. There's already brain research, but the interesting part is those equipment has yet to touch my head. We've seen what it did with other people's heads and stuff like that. So really curious to see the brain mapping that goes on in my head, especially quantum breathing. Quantum breathing in the back of my head is going to be like a real keen eye. Like I'm ready with my notepad. Like that's gonna be like the first thing I really want to see of what it affects um, within that world of research. So
No fact that technique is that in the breath library,
yeah,
quantum breathing.
I'm uploading some stuff about quantum breathing. Come July, Breath Library will be adding a lot more videos. So
Wow.
yeah, that's definitely in Breath Library, quantum breathing. It's there. Got some stuff under there. I think the next upload I'm gonna do is the sun and the moon in terms of their magnetism and quantum breathing in that sense. But yeah, Breath Family has a lot of material in terms of the private Instagram page that'll be dedicated towards the 38 challenges. Uh, the family WhatsApp group, the chat, and the Zoom calls that we do in the breath dojos, and literally all the subliminal breathwork music and the new ones that will be added comes all included in Breath Family. Powerful group, and I'm so blessed to have so many lives just sharing healing breaths. Like when we come together, it's really really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really supportive family too, which is nice to see. And so you guys know I'm now an affiliate of the Breath family. So if you want to sign up, you can get a discount through my link. So yeah, come join us, come vibe, and learn some new breath work. You know, just add something to your repertoire to enjoy it more. You know, to increase.
And we gotta get it. We gotta get a track going on. Yeah, I'm gonna send you the audio file of that specific Brett Dojo where you and Mike were on, and send it just to both of you and see what you can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very powerful to have even Breath Family's breaths, you know, healing. Um, little do people know, Breath Family's first collaboration was the subliminal breathwork for fasting. So I didn't know this was gonna happen, but when we did the Zoom call, literally everyone was liquid fasting. I'm like, what? What are the odds? So I'm like, we're definitely gonna use this, set the intention, and we recorded subliminal breathwork for fasting. That's why it's powerful, guys. Yeah, that one is truly, truly powerful.
Like you both, or it's like the person teaching you is part of it, you know, or like for like a Reiki session, you know, like I don't want someone who's all confused and distorted in their mind doing Reiki on me. I just, you know, I don't need that energy leakage coming into my aura field. So it's really connecting with the right teachers, I think, is really key. I've had this question I wanted to ask you about urine therapy, and just in relation to the mass building. Do you think that those are connected? Just like the HGH in the urine and the stem cells, is that also?
Definitely. Yes. For sure. Well, there's another factor to take into consideration in terms of the molecular structure of the saliva changing during the breath work as well. As you know, as you've witnessed a different taste. I don't know if you witness different tastes breathing in different styles, because that is what happens. There's even one where we work on, I'm gonna rename it to copper feeding, because you really get that coppery taste, definitely with the third eye breathing too, because most of copper resides in the middle of the forehead, and you'll really get that taste doing that solid breath work. So many different tastes and textures. You start to realize what they meant in the Tao, in the terms of the golden elixir, which is done It's not actually urine, but it's actually saliva in a meditative state. And we had a pranayama master. I did a live, and the pranayama master came on. I forgot his name. If he's watching, I'm sorry, but you know who you are. But he came on. He said I've never been able to taste the nectar that much until that session. So yeah, the golden nectar. Sorry, the golden nectar. That's what they call it in the Tao. And that is meditative saliva, because water holds memory. So when you're meditating, you're in a calmer state. It's going to change the state of your saliva. So we've proven even just the sound of my breath gets you into high points of theta consistently. And what do you think that's molecularly changing into the saliva in terms of the information of you being in that state, having an effect on the saliva? Then you swallow that, then you feel more nourished in terms of a different light spectrum, if we're going into beyond nutrients in that sense. But that molecular change is literally light information in itself, speaking to each other, coding, blah blah blah. You know how they do before and after auras, you know, after meditation, things like that. That is what is embedded within your saliva in terms of information. Versus, this is why urine in itself is powerful in terms of the therapy used, because it's your own DNA. It's going to read it a lot faster versus an external substance that your body has to decode a little bit more extra, to harmonize with your DNA. So this is why the saliva, you build the saliva, you make the saliva. It's going to be easier for your body to read, in the sense of, this is why it's good to chew your food. Chew your food. So it's easier because your stomach starts at your mouth. It doesn't start at your stomach, it starts at your mouth. So, keys.
You chew do you chew your liquids too? Just like kind of like that motion?
I don't feel a need to anymore, because my upper palate, I don't know, it's a natural motion. It'll like maneuver in a sense where it is feel like chewing, but it's just natural at this point, because my upper palate is really there's more volume there. So it's like it reforms your jaw for sure. Like I looked at my older pictures, and I'm really more defined. Like it's changed in terms of my jawline.
You're more defined now, you're saying, from the breathing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can see just nasal breathing itself completely like transforms people's faces in a pretty short amount of time. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
It's literally the natural plastic surgery. Literally, you don't need plastic surgery. You need to
Oh,
breathe better.
yep. With intention. Intention is the key, right? Or part of the key. Um, yeah, it's powerful stuff. What else? I feel like there's definitely more we can go into.
There's so much. There's so much. But why don't we just do a quick little mini breathwork to end it off?
All for it. Absolutely.
All right, all right. So if you guys are new, I'm gonna go over the main locks. So starting with the eyes, you want to have it looking up, gazing towards the middle of your forehead. You can have your eyelids halfway closed or fully closed, up to you, whatever feels natural. Don't worry about it too much. The next lock is your tongue. This is your tongue. You're gonna curl it to the roof of the mouth on the soft palate, stretching. And the next lock after that is your pelvic floor. Everything you go to the bathroom with, you want to squeeze only on the exhales and let go on the inhales. So the sequence of breath we're going to be doing, it's just going to be a regular inhale and 3 partial breaths out. Regular inhale, 3 partial breaths out. And then I'm going to say regulate. When I say regulate, You're going to breathe normally back and forth with the nose, only the nose. And then I'm going to say silence. When I say silence, just breathe where you can't hear the breath at all, only with the nose. And slow down your exhales. I'm going to remind you when we get there, so don't worry. Slow down your exhales as much as possible, and then we'll end the session there. So get in position, whatever feels natural, relax, close your eyes or halfway close, up to you. Palms facing the ceiling, spine straight. You can be on the edge of a chair, you can be laying down, whatever feels right to you. And we're going to start, but before we start, let's set an intention with the breath. With every breath, I'm accepting more love, gratitude, and the power to let go. So now we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. With the inhale, let's go. Regulate. Silence. Let that inhale come in naturally and slow down your exhales deeper and deeper and deeper. Breathe where you can't hear the breath at all. Eyes still gazing, tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now you can start swallowing your saliva. Thank you all for sharing the breath. How we feeling, brother?
Blissed out, as usual, on the Alchemy. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how simple and how quick, like you really don't got to do much to get to that state. Yeah, which is why I love doing the Alchemy breathworks just throughout the day, even if I'm doing my own pranayamas and kriyas and kundalini session, like in the morning or whatever at a different point in the day. I'll still include the Alchemy throughout the day, and that's yeah, it's so powerful to have that as a tool to use. Grateful.
Grateful for you, brother. Grateful for you. So guys, there's a 10% discount code, Abu Shadi. Click his link, and that should give you access to Breath Family.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you
And
all. Yeah, you
I'll
wanna
just add,
end, brother? Yeah.
for anybody interested, like I said earlier, I'm doing my first juice fast during July, and will be offering breathwork sessions throughout the month, as well as fasting guidance and coaching. So yeah, also check that link out in my bio. Check my recent posts if that's something that interests you, and sign up for Breath Family. And yeah, thanks for having me, Devon. Really much gratitude, brother. Thank you for all that you do.
Peace. Thank you all for sharing the breath. Have a wonderful, breathful night and day wherever you're at or watching this, whatever time. Peace.
Okay.
Just like getting deeper into fasting recently, alchemy breathwork has been like the most vital energy source in the practice. Any breathwork I'm doing, I feel is not sustainable while fasting in particular. Like I was teaching I did like a 3-day fast recently, and I was teaching how to practice. And by like the end of those 3 days, I was like tired from it. I was just like, I need to do some alchemy breath work, and that realigned me. So it's really making me realize how important this type of work is. So I appreciate you for giving it to
Thank
us.
you,
Really.
brother. That means a lot coming from your yoga background, and you see the difference in the style of this style of breathwork in that sense. Thank you.
100%.